I remember it really well. My mum gave me a couple of 2 old pennies, I think they were. And I think I'd been reading like Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. And I think it was just treasure. And I was excited at the thought of treasure. And instead of pocket money, I think I used to get like 50 pence a week. And she said if I didn't spend the money on sweets, she'd give me £1 a week if I bought things like collectibles. So I went for the £1 a week, of course. And then started doing little odd jobs to make some money, and spent all the money on buying more stuff. So by the time I was 13, I did my first antiques fair, as I think I would have been the youngest antiques dealer in England, if you can call me an antique dealer. And it was just from there, I couldn't stop. And I love it more now than I've ever loved it, really. The Dr. Russell's is because my actual name is David Robert Russell. So it's Dr. Russell, and when I applied for my business name, it came back as Dr. Russell, so I thought it sounded good. So I kept that, and then my friends always called me Phil since I was a kid, so I kind of never got to be David. I just always became Phil. My mum was a swap meter, garage sailor type of lady, but she was definitely a hoarder. I mean, since I was a little kid, there was always, every room in the house was full of stuff. Even the staircase going upstairs would be boxes of different stuff going up the stairs. And she just encouraged me to do it with her. So like every time she went out, I'm really excited to go with her, because we didn't know what we were going to find, and we'd get lost and stuff like that. Very, very interesting lady, and had a very good imagination, because she was always encouraging me to, never to be scared of doing something. She brought home, I think when I was about 12 or 13, an electric shock machine, which was late 1800s, and you'd stick your fingers in the thing and you'd crank it up and it just gives you electric current. And she played the trick on me with it, and I thought, God, that's so interesting. And I've still got that one. I think that she always had a really good interest about unusual things, and it was educational in a different way. And I wasn't very good at school. I couldn't read and write very well, so this was something I just found really interesting and exciting. There was Jacques Cousteau, the famous French scuba diver and explorer, was diving on the Barrier Reef, and I seen it on TV, and it was clear water and warm and all the fish. And being from Liverpool area, I used to go swimming in the Mersey, which was filthy, oily, dirty. And my mum used to tell me it was the beach, and I'd go swimming down at the beach, and really it was just a really muddy, dirty part of the river. And there's the big ships coming past, and I used to think, God, imagine if you could see the fish in the water. And that was from that age of 13, I went, I want to come and live in Australia, and I want to have an antique shop. So I was only 13 when I decided Australia and antique shop, and I ended up here. And I think, it's, when you decided something in your head, you can make it work. You just gotta, it must be fate as well, but it was something I've always dreamt about. I've just found something I haven't seen for a while. These are my old ice skates. Damn, there you go. I haven't seen them for a while. Still as sharp as ever. Those cost about $1,000, would you believe? In fact, the boots were specially made for me in Austria. My brother took me ice skating in Liverpool. In those days, the ice skates, they were like metal clamps that went up to your knees to hold your ankles straight so you wouldn't fall over. And of course, we just fell over, and it was fun. I seen this guy out in the middle of the ice rink spinning round and dancing, and I thought, God, I really want to do that. And I just managed to get all the way to him, and I fell over on the floor. And I said, I want to be like you. And he went, you'll have to pay for some lessons, son. I went, ah. Anyway, I got my mum to pay for a lesson, and we got a couple of lessons with that man. And he was the ice skating coach, Bill Patton. I must have had a little bit of natural ability with it, and within about a year he started to give me free lessons, and he'd pick me up at 5 a.m. in the morning to go and train. Bloody hard work, but I really kind of kept at it all the time. And then in the end I turned professional, and I competed in the British Junior Championships, and then as a professional I joined Holiday on Ice, Disney on Ice, and then I got to skate with Torvill and Dean, which was a fantastic opportunity. I bought a piece this morning, a beautiful old mirror. The guy said he bought it in 1969, so he's had it like 50 years. I said, where did you get it? He got it from the Palace Hotel in St George's Terrace. So I've wrote all of that down on a piece of paper, and I've stuck it to the back of the mirror already, because if I don't do that, then it's lost its history. And then if I'm not alive to tell somebody the history of it, it's all the history's gone. And history can go through one generation, and that history is lost. I mean, a lot of the men through the Second World War died without ever telling their story. I mean, my dad never told me what happened to him in the Second World War, only because he didn't want to tell me, or people don't want to talk about it. But I'd have just loved to know what happened and where he was. It's everything's got a story, and it's good to share those stories, otherwise we'd lose all our history. When I was 17, I had a massive car accident on the way back from a big ice skating competition in the UK. It was quite serious, and they had to cut me out of the car and take me out of the roof. And then I was in intensive care after some serious operations. Some of the injuries were that bad they just left the lacerations, because they concentrated on the more severe stuff, internal injuries. And then woke up in the hospital 3 days later, and on my own in intensive care. Started to get better, even though it was very, very slow. Moved into the amputation ward with 5 of the guys who all were seriously injured. And I was the only one that I remember leaving, apart from the man that passed away. I remember the doctor coming in, and I go, Mr. Russell, you're recovering quite well from your injuries, but you're never going to be able to walk again the same as you were before. And I don't think he understood that I had the accident on the way back from the ice skating competition. So that was everything to me. In those days, you didn't really talk back to the doctor. You just said, yes, sir. That was it. You didn't say anything really. My mind just refused to accept it. And that was, no, I just wouldn't accept it. There's no way that's going to stop me. I think that day I chose to change my life and to not let anybody tell me that I can't do anything. That was it. I'm not going to let anybody tell me I can't do something. And I've gone with that all my life. And I've gone with that all my life. Yeah. And my dad made me drive the car home from the hospital, which was about an hour away. He went, you can drive the car. I went, Dad, I've got my leg in plaster and my arm in plaster. I went, yeah, you can do it. My dad was that positive to make me get straight back in. So to have driven, had the accident, ended up in hospital, and 2 months later drove myself home from the hospital. Now my dad he knew what he was doing, and that was it. I got home, and then I got my crutches, and I still had my arm in plaster and my leg in plaster, and I went to the ice rink and I put my skates on. I just got on the ice and just wiggled around a bit. Unbelievable. And within 12 months of that, I was back on the ice. I was back competing again. And then 2 years later, I joined Holiday on Ice, and it changed my whole life. And then we went to another show and another show, and we travelled the world for 7 years until I came to Australia. And that's when I settled down here and started the antique business. In the end, every time, it's coming back to doing something that you enjoy, that you really have a love for. And everybody that talks to me says, Phil, this is what you do. And I've got to learn that every single time. This is who I am. And I should be so thankful that I found something in my life that I wanted to do twice. Yeah, that's it. We're having a party tomorrow night in here. We've got about 40 or 50 friends coming. Friends and customers, because some of the customers become friends. When we close the door down and we'll do a few little bits of candlelight, it's so much more fun than them going to the pub. We've done it a few times since the COVID, and it's just such a nice atmosphere because you can walk around surrounded by all these lovely things, and all of the people that are coming are people that are collectors, so they really enjoy it. It's such an atmosphere. I think just looking around, it's really nice, the lighting and the music. Everybody I look at is a collector of something different. They're all from all walks of life, without a doubt, but we all have a common bond, which is collecting. I didn't tell anybody it was my birthday. I was hoping it was just going to be a quiet thing, but I think with the Facebook, you can't hide anything, really. So every birthday is special. I'm just glad I'm still alive and enjoying it. Hey, there's party people everywhere. I'm just happy to be doing another year, really. And I'm working tomorrow morning at 8:30. Have you had a good time? My mum passed away 5 years ago. I went to visit her. She was been in hospital for a while. And she goes, get back in the shop and get back to what you do. And I went, yeah, okay. And then when I opened this place, I realised that's what I do to make me happy, and it's what gets me out of bed in the morning. And when I moved in here, I couldn't wait to get in every morning. I was coming in at 4:30 just because I wanted to, decorate it and make it fun. This is probably some of the most happiest period of my life, as in I'm doing exactly what I want to do, and I've always tried my best to do what you want to do, but you have to make a living and work along, and when you find something like that, it doesn't matter, it's not work. People go, you're working 7 days a week. And I'm not working at all, really, because it's just fun. And it's not being afraid to try something like the ice skating and running my own business. And when I started, I had to sleep in the back of the shop to be able to pay the rent, to be able to start the business. And it was okay because I was doing what I wanted to do. And, you have to pay the price for however long it takes. I just want to keep going because it's exciting. And that was, my mum always said, we'll just go a little bit further. And you don't know where you're going to go until you get there. And then I'm still in love with it. Wow. Okay, job done. I don't know why I do this, honestly. Come on.